Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brian Terrian from the Disability Digest, and welcome to our Wednesday YouTube live event. We're back on schedule after last week. We had our event on Tuesday. And Philip, David, with me here today. Gentlemen, thank you for joining and helping out with today's event. I think what I'm going to share with you today, this is just my opinion. I hope you get the same vibe when we're done, is probably one of the most important pieces of information that a disability applicant or recipient should know. And that is how to deal with your doctors and communicating your limitations and what exactly to do that is legal by law if they do not put your limitations properly documented in your medical records. So again, this will help you get approved. If you're approved, you're subject to a continuing disability review, so it will help you keep your benefits. And let's see, we're also going to take some questions today. I'll turn the phone lines on and you can call in with your questions. And then there's been some other questions submitted. So that's what we have in store for today. I see people are piling in. So if you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. And if you're coming back, certainly appreciate you coming back. We do these events here at the Disability Digest, no-cost events, to really help you understand the disability process, getting approved, keeping your benefits, maximizing them. So our focus here is to be a trusted resource for you, and a place for you to learn and engage and listen to other experts in the industry. So we thoroughly hope that you enjoy the show. There's other resources that we provide in addition to our channel. You can come and join us as a member. You'll learn about that at the end. There's no charge for that. That's really the best way that we can help you, because it provides you with a customized approach to get your disability benefits approved or keep them or maximize them. So that's what we do here. All right. So let's start with, I want to go over a few housekeeping items first, which is there was an announcement last week. I'm just checking my notes here, where the Social Security disability recipients are going to receive an increase in your check amount. It is 2.5% of a benefit increase. So if you're not approved and you're looking at your check right now, or you know what your check is right now, it'll be 2.5% more if you get approved. Hopefully you will next year or before. So that's what you can expect. So just a reminder for those of you that are in the check range of like $1,470 and you're already approved and you're not paying for your Medicare Part B premium, that 2.5%, I haven't done the exact math on it, but that could unfortunately be enough to push you over the $1,500 threshold where you would not, it could be possible that you would not have your Part B Medicare premium paid for. So that's like $170 something a month. So that could be a big hit. But here at the Disability Digest, our focus is to keep you informed. And if that does happen to you, hopefully you can find other ways to offset that. So that's number one. It's like, I think 2 years ago, it was like an 8% increase. Remember that, Philip? Was it like, yeah, because last year was like 3, 4. Year before that was huge, largest ever. All right. So that's one thing that's going on. So for today's event, I just kind of want to set things up a little bit. One of the most frequently asked questions that we get here at the Disability Digest in helping people is like, I have degenerative disc disease. Do you think I'll get approved? I have depression. Do you think I'll get approved? Do you think I'll be able to keep my benefits? So these questions are commonly condition related, but in what I've learned and what we communicate in our messages is that it's not the condition that you have that will trigger the approval. It might sound crazy. And there's been other work that we've done on this. And actually, I've done a live event that is, I think I'll pop it up over here. And David, if you could put this in the today. This was an event that goes through all of the top conditions and breaks them down. Now, there's a report from Social Security that they put out periodically that lists the conditions. But I don't want to get, off track here. I just want you to know that there are top conditions by numbers that people get approved from. But here's the thing. The number one condition that people get approved for are musculoskeletal. It's like there's 2.7 million people out of the, call it 9 million people that are approved. But somebody could have degenerative disc disease, and so could somebody else. But it's the how that condition impacts the individual by putting limitations on them that is going to determine their success of getting their disability benefits approved or not. So if somebody is diagnosed with a degenerative disc disease and they're still able to work, well, that's one thing. But somebody could have it so that they can't sit for 15 minutes and they can't stand for 20 minutes. And the pain is so excruciating and their muscles structure has been compromised so much that they can't lift more than 7 pounds anymore. So that person's going to have a whole different set of circumstances. So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because you, as a disability applicant or recipient, or basically anybody that is doctoring for that matter, you could even be listening to this in full time, and I hope you stop what you're doing and pay attention, is that understanding how to communicate your limitations to your doctors so that they go in your medical records and are partnered up with your conditions. So the individual with the degenerative disc disease is going into his doctors and after journaling and writing down all of the challenges and limitations. I'm using a piece of paper as an example, is you write down your top 5 limitations. Not able to sit for 10 minutes, not able to stand for 20 minutes, I'm not able to lift 7 pounds. And when you go to the doctor, you present those. Now you might be off watching TV and the politics and other stuff, but this is the probably could be the most important thing that you can do for your financial well-being and your preservation is to get these limitations in there. And there's 2 reasons for this. One is you're being treated by the doctor, and it gives you a benchmark as to where you're standing, if the doctor is moving the needle or not, or getting better. That's not really, doesn't pertain to Social Security as much as this next one. But the next one is the disability approval process and ability to keep your benefits is based on what you cannot do, right? So if you communicate what you cannot do and the doctor takes those, like you have handed them to your doctor and said, I'd like you to put these into my patient portal, make sure that they're in there so that next time when I come back, we can see them and monitor them to see how we're doing. That will allow Social Security, when they look at your medical records, to see that you have a diagnosis, you're being treated by a doctor, and there's limitations. Your sit, stand, lift, whatever else they are. Could be brain health ones that they're in there. So again, the point is, if you don't have them in there, then you have to leave it to the, assessment of Social Security if they can figure out if your condition is severe enough without having those specific details in your medical records. All right. So here's the main point for today. Most doctors will do this. They'll gladly do this. It's not a big deal for them. They'll put it into the medical records. You go back, you check the patient portal, you make sure that it's in there. But there's some doctors that don't want to do any extra work. There's some doctors that don't understand the law. Believe it or not. Some doctors don't understand the law. So as a patient, if your doctor says, well, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Or, you know what, I can't do that. It's not legal for me to do that. Now, I know I've had this personal situation happen to me because I've been advocating for my mother. So I've used this trick and I brought in the regulation and it really changes their mindset. So here is the point. There was a media piece released on this that gave kind of a condensed version of this, and we'll put it in the chat feature. But I'll share with you the important point that was in that and what to do. So the title of this, and you can search our YouTube channel, it's how CFR 164.526 help you get and keep benefits. Okay. CFR is Code of Federal Regulations, and you can take this right here and you can go out on the internet and you can put in and find the Code of Federal Regulations that this is based off of. And it's on a .gov website. So this kind of looks something like this, right? Okay. So what I've done, and this is a letter that you would send to your doctor if the doctor is apprehensive, doesn't want to, or doesn't do it right. Put your limitations into the medical records. And it's set up in a template format in this video. Remember, it's in this video that we're going to put in the chat for you. And you would just fill in the doctor's name and then you would modify it. I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing to formally request that both my physical and mental limitations be documented into my medical records. You have to modify that if you don't have mental health conditions, and you'd want to take that out. These limitations are important for my ongoing medical treatment and necessary for my Social Security disability case. Now, if you're already approved, you might want to change case to benefits. Proper documentation helps me monitor my condition and ensure appropriate evaluation during the course of treatment. I have been under care since whatever the date is, your first date of treatment at that facility. And my last appointment was on this date. Below the specific limitations I have communicated to you on the piece of paper, folks. Physical limitations, mental limitations, right? So then down here, I am requesting that these physical and mental limitations be included as outlined under my rights according to CFR 164.526. And this video shows you, like, goes through the actual Code of Federal Regulations for you. All right. So if they don't do this or they don't act on a certain time, then you have another course of action. But it typically is not a problem. Doctors do not want to have any challenges in dealing with Code of Federal Regulation violations. So if you are a disability applicant or you have a disability attorney, or if you're like you are working with us and you have a situation like this, then we'll do the letter for you. Just contact us, tell us the situation, or you can do a draft, send it to us, and the legal team here will take a look at it and send it in and get this cleaned up. So remember, this is important, folks, because if the medical records are reviewed and it says, I am treating this patient for degenerative disc disease and they can't lift more than 8 pounds, can't sit for more than 50, all that stuff, it really puts a lock on it, right? So a lot of people are hung up on getting like doctor support. My doctor won't support me. They won't fill out any forms. if you do this, it's like, basically you're manipulating the medical records. You're controlling the medical records and what's in them. And maybe manipulating is not the right word, but it really sounds nice. To help you get what needs to be put in there done properly. So I'm in hopes that you find value in this.
And the legal
I
team here will take a look at it.
Whoop,
And send
we
it in.
got some feedback, Philip, on your side. Um, so I'm in hopes that you find value in this. I'd love to hear, like, if you've had challenges, what they've been. Perhaps you put this into place and you come back and you let us know at a later event. That type of stuff would be really, really helpful. Before we get into questions, a few things that I wanted to do before we pivot. I was just noticing earlier today, Philip, who's here, runs a Facebook group that supports people that are going through the disability approval process. And I think it's like one of the fastest growing, largest that's out there. But Philip, I noticed that your group is like at 9,600 and something, right?
Yeah,
Almost 10,000.
9,004. Yeah, almost.
That's impressive. We should
Short hop away.
we should have a celebration of sorts when you hit the big 10,000. I mean, that's something.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know, let's give some thought to that. What we can do, the
yeah,
virtual party, prizes, um, kick around some ideas. Anybody out there that's in Philip's group, if you got a prize idea, let us know. That'd be fun.
yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah,
the Social Security Disability Benefits Help Getting Approved Facebook group.
right. Yeah, and this is streamed in there. So if you're listening to this event in there, um, you know, stay tuned for more. We'll figure something out. Um, all right. So, one other thing I'll cover at the end here at the Disability Digest is we, in the work that we do these events for free. You can join us as a member, but we do represent people to help them get their disability benefits approved. We represent a limited amount of people every month so we can keep the quality high and the approval rates high. We provide a disability approval course for many that would like to use it on their own to avoid all legal fees, so they can use that. Um, and so, because this is Disability Employment Month, we don't have any open positions here right now, but we do have the opportunity to take on like four more individuals to help them get approved this month that we can accommodate. And so we'll pay a referral fee if you know somebody that needs to get their disability benefits approved. We'll pay we'll send you $100 Amazon gift card. How about that if you refer somebody to us? Um, so we would need to be done between now and the end of the month. We're not going to leave it open because, again, we work with a limited amount of people. But if you know of somebody that's right now, and you could refer them to us, and maybe they just want to use the approval course, and that's fine. That wouldn't trigger the prize money, but maybe they don't get approved, and later they need us, and that would. So there's some options for you. Um, so that's sending out like $400 in prize money for the referrals that we would do. So, David, if you would, just a reminder to put a link in about the referral program into the chat for individuals out there, that would be great. Um, Okay, let's do this. I'm going to turn the phones on in a few moments, but I know there were some questions that David and Philip wanted to make sure that we addressed first before I do that. So let's do that. And if you're out there in the audience, hang tight. I'll put the number up on the screen and you'll be able to call in. All right. Who's up? Who's first?
Even go ahead.
All right. Okay, I spot that. Let us address first the one in the comment section here. He said, I received a short form CDR on October 4th. and have an appointment with a new general doctor on October 21st, should I submit the CDR form now or wait until after the appointment? And how can I ensure my post-stroke limitations are properly documented with this new doctor, especially since my previous doctor pushed for physical therapy that did not help me over the past 9 years?
Yeah, I don't know the whole deal, and this is a tricky one, but my hunch is one appointment, it's not going to make a big difference. If you've had consistent treatment, which I hope and pray you have had consistent treatment. So if you have extra time and that doesn't exceed the deadline, I'll let you be the judge of that if you feel that that one appointment is going to be helpful. But keep in mind, you got to have the appointment and you got to look in the portal. And if it's the first time you've seen the doctor, are you confident that there's going to be information that's worth waiting for? There's just some things in there that you need to factor into this.
Right, that is Giga 1017's question.
All right.
We have this second question here. The Disability Digest I heard always mentions RFC. Can I still win my disability case without submitting an RFC form?
You can, sure, many have. But it's if you can get it, it's really helpful, especially if you're under 50. Um, you need like every piece of evidence.
Noted on that. Well, third question. My mental health condition fluctuates. Sometimes I can function a bit, and other days I'm completely zoned out and unable to work. How can I effectively document these fluctuating limitations so that Social Security understands the full impact on my ability to work?
This is a really good question. Yeah, and this would apply to, well, I wouldn't say apply, but it could be parallel to somebody with an autoimmune condition like fibromyalgia, where they're impacted by flares or you're impacted by these events, these mental health events. So, what would be helpful to document is how frequent are the events? Like, how many times a month do you have them? Let's say it's 3. And when you have these events and you use that term zoned out, which I can relate to, um, what does zoned, what do you do when you're zoned out? Are you like in your room in a dark space with like no noise and pillows over your head? Or are you just like staring at the T? What does zoned mean? And then describe that. You got to be straight up truthful. So here's the end result. If you're looking at this, is if you have at least 3 events like this a month, and you're zoned out for um, let's say 2 days on each, right? And you're not able to work because you're zoned out, whatever that definition is by you. That's 6 days a month. So if you can get this documented, like with an RFC, if you can get this documented or in your medical records, you can get this into the medical records. This is a classic example because if it doesn't have this, it's just going to have your conditions. Then it would be helpful for somebody to understand at Social Security that 6 days a month, there's I don't know where there's no job you could do.
Mm, right. And Savannah Blackwell here has a follow-up question. When in the process should you submit the RFC form?
Well, ideally as soon as possible. With the work that we do, if somebody's at the initial application, we, they when you after you apply, you're going to get forms from Social Security that are your work history forms and your daily living. Like right after that is typically in the workflow, but you could do it anytime. Um, and do that. Even, if you have gone through your initial application and been denied, and you haven't done this, or you have a new doctor, or even if your doctor has said no, you can take another swing at them. Probably swing isn't the right term, but you can ask them again.
Okay,
Good questions.
thank you. Philip, I know you got some there.
This first one is just a statement, but so I've been applying since 2019. Wow, 5 years. I was finally approved today. They approved my reconsideration. I won.
Hmm.
Hang in there, everyone. Congratulations.
Wow. Love those stories.
Five, 5 years. Yeah. Wow.
5 years.
All right. Finally, the next one is finally got approved today for benefits after a year now. I'm doing better. If I cancel, is it hard to get it back again?
Yeah, I don't know if somebody is thinking of canceling because of work, it's the same process. Oftentimes they say there's easy reentry, but the term easy and Social Security just don't seem to sync up.
They don't
So
match.
they don't match. My suggestion would be if you're feeling better and thinking that you can return to work, there is different ways that you can test this and keep your benefits to confirm that your body will sustain itself. I mean, maybe you feel great now just because you got approved and, big fat balance in your bank account. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel it's important for people to be realistic. You can work part-time, supplement your income. You can even volunteer or do things that are not work-related to test your capability and your stamina before you go and like undo everything.
Right, this next one it may be a little long. I'm going to try to shorten it up best I can.
Sure.
Uh, this is a lady who says her husband had filed and was denied 3 times. I'm assuming her exact words were denied, denied, denied.
Mm,
So I'm assuming she was denied initial reconsideration and at a hearing. And her attorney, wait a minute, they appealed it to the appeals council also and was denied. Then her attorney said that they could take it to federal, so they talked about it. And her husband talked about it, decided, yeah, they would go ahead and do it federal. Well, after about a week, the attorney got back in touch with her and told her that they were going to decline from representation at federal. And then sent her an invoice for all of her medical records that they had acquired through her case. So short of it is here. She's asking, can they do that?
yeah, I can. And the thing that you need to be aware of, many people, I've an experience in working with individuals, they'll authorize documents but forget what they authorize. So I'd go back to the documents, the fee agreement that you authorized, and look for anything in there that spells it out, or just simply ask the firm, say, can you provide me with the fee agreement or the agreement that we had that I signed to pay for these? Yeah, it could be quite substantial because if you call it, well, you're going to collect, update them all at the hearing. I would say, in our experience, at the hearing level on medical records, it's like a $700 investment to get all the medical records on average. So it'd be worth inquiring.
This one here has to do with your video of today on letters to Social Security from your doctors. It says, has anyone had luck getting their PCP mental health doctor to write a letter to Social Security on their behalf? I'm waiting for the hearing date, but I read that a letter from your doctor saying you can't work might help your case. I'm 100% TDIU and been denied twice.
So this is a veteran that is 100% rated that has been denied. Unfortunately, it's common. So the answer is a letter will help, but I don't expect, it's seldom that doctors will step out and take the initiative or follow your directions to write a letter. And when they do, they don't understand what to put in the letter. They might say, if it's Bob is the person, they might say Bob is a good guy, shows up for all his appointment. You know, he's dressed nice, he's in a lot of pain, and he needs his disability. Well, that's a letter, but it's not real effective. The way to address that is there are template letters that are called residual functional capacity reports, and these are for physical limitations and brain health limitations, mental limitations. And these are like have yes, no questions, check boxes, and answers to some short questions that confirm your treatment, their opinion on the limitations that you have, the severity of them, and how many days that you would miss work. So these Social Security state level administrator recognize, and also the judges do. So it's in a format. So they're residual functional capacity reports. Here at the Disability Digest, we offer a membership. There's no cost to it. When you join us as a member, if you were to complete your profile for this individual, because you're not approved, you would be guided to eventually end up in the disability approval course, where you can listen to an interview that is a detailed interview about this doctor support and get access to these forms to bring to your doctor. There's no charge for the disability approval course. So that would be the best way to do it. There's some other nuances for veterans that are 100%, but this would be really helpful. And sometimes they're challenging to get filled out by the VA because oftentimes there might be rotating doctors. Like if you have a primary care, you might not see the same one every time, so they don't understand you real well. That's getting off track here a little bit, but definitely that's how you can get them, and that would help your approval chances. Definitely boost them.
I think that's all I have for today.
All right. So I'm going to turn the phone lines on. There's a few things I want to touch on, but while we're waiting for a call to come in, or if anybody would like to call. So I'm going to put the number up here on the screen. And you can call in, and it's like 3 minutes, anything you want to talk about. Hopefully it's something I can help with. And it could be you have a question about getting approved, or you're already approved, or housing, or jobs, or any of the related items that we have. So the number to call is up on the screen. It's 844-717-2454. It's 844-717-2454. And one other thing I wanted to just touch on a little bit about a common question that I saw popping up this week. And the question or the statement was something like, I'm out of money, family won't support me, I'm going to be evicted in 6 days. My disability approval is still got, I forget, like 100 and something days left. One moment, folks. This is Brian. One moment. I'm just going to finish up and I'll take your question. Thanks for calling. So this is an unfortunate situation, and frankly, there's really no good answers. But on the YouTube channel, I did go through some of the things that we have learned from members and resources that we have picked up to help people survive. And so my first suggestion would be to learn about your Center for Independent Living and what resources they may have for you, especially if you're going to be homeless with children or other, like if you live in the north here where it gets cold and it's challenging. So the best thing you can do is just have a good plan so that you don't end up in that situation. Like make sure you have, if you're still working, have a short-term, long-term disability policy and understand that this could take a while. It's like 8 months for your initial decision if you get approved, and then another 8 months if you don't for your next decision, which has a low percentage of approval. And then if you wait for a hearing, the whole thing could take you 3 years. So, all right. Thanks for calling. Who am I speaking with?
Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. Thanks for calling in. How can I help
Hello.
you?
I just wanted to know what is the best time to first apply for disability. I'm 53.
Mm-hmm.
I've been off work since July with a back injury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scheduled for surgery in December, but I may or may not have that. I went back to work the beginning of October, 2 days a week. I'm normally full-time, and I was told that starting in November, they want me to come back full-time, and that if I have restrictions, I probably won't have a job. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have restrictions because I'm already having issues just working 2 days a week. And I did apply for long-term disability through my employer, and they did approve it, but I don't know how long that will last because I have to meet, qualifications for that. But I was just wondering, like, where in the mix do you apply for Social Security disability? Would you wait until you exhaust the long-term disability through your employer, or do you do it simultaneously?
Mm-hmm.
And how many months out of work before I should apply?
Well, first of all, it's a great question, and you provided some very direct, succinct, helpful information. So thank you. So I want to make sure I understand this. You've been off of work since July. You're 53 years old. You have a pending event in December, and you're currently working 2 days a week. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And are you on short-term disability that will convert to long-term?
I did not have short-term disability, so I was on FMLA unpaid for 12 weeks. And then I went back to work because I didn't know if I would be qualified for long-term, but then I found out I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to return to the doctor next week to kind of review how I'm doing at 2 days a week with the restrictions that they have. But I already know that my HR department's told me that basically starting November, if I have restrictions, they won't accept it.
What kind of work do you do?
I work in physical therapy in a hospital.
Okay, so are you like working on a floor where you're on your feet a lot?
Right. Well, we see inpatients and outpatients, and right now I'm only seeing outpatients, which are the easier of the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is what I was trying to see, but I'm already having issues even with just the outpatients, so I don't think there's any way I could go back to doing the heavy lifting with inpatients.
Got it.
And actually our HR too told me that she was worried about it too, and she was considering pulling me off the job herself because she thinks it's a liability for the hospital, but they haven't done that. I think they're waiting for me to see the doctor.
Okay. And how long have you done this type of work, whether it's inpatient or outpatient?
I graduated from college in '94, so 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Great. And the 2 days a week that you are working, are you earning more than $1,550 a month in income with those 2 days worth of work?
What was the amount again?
$1,550.
Yes, I would be above that. Plus, also, I'm getting long-term disability is going to pay the difference between my part-time hours and full-time. So they're going to compensate the difference.
Okay. All right. And the accommodations that you currently have, I want to just get this last thing, Patricia, and then I am going to answer your question or give you my opinion. Do you have accommodations that allow you to do that 2 days of work that are significant? Like if it was a normal person doing that, then it would it'd be like 3 days worth of work, or is there anything like that?
I don't really know. The thing is, when my doctor wrote that I could return to work, he wrote the return to work as 2 to 3 days a week to kind of transition back to full time. And he did not put any specific restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
but my employer put restrictions themselves, saying for the first month they didn't want me to see inpatients because
Okay.
they know they're more demanding. But
Okay.
now they're telling me, because I've kind of told them, hey, you know what, this is not as easy as I thought. I thought I would be doing better.
Yeah.
And at this time, when I talk to my doctor, I would want to say, yes, I want to, if I continue, I would want to continue on with no inpatient treatments, but I don't think they will accept that. And honestly, I don't even think they'll accept 2 or 3 days a week of work, because I think the expectation is after this month, I either come back full-time, full duty, or nothing.
You're either in or you're out, right? Okay.
That's what I feel like I'm being told.
Yeah. Yeah. What's preventing you from being able to work? Like, what's the limitations?
Um,
Sitting, standing,
so
lifting?
sitting, I can probably do 10 to 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And at least with my job, I can get up and move around. Walking isn't too bad. I can't stand in one place for more than like 3 to 5 minutes. And the other thing is, I just, if I have to lift, sometimes I still have to do some lifting. I had a very difficult patient since I came back. I have increased pain in my back, my leg, that I don't have the rest of the day. And then that night, I still have that pain, and I have to medicate
Mm-hmm.
with medications that I wasn't taking before I went back to work.
Right. Right. What's the condition
So
that's
that's
causing this, Patricia?
I have 2 herniated discs in my back, and I have 3 previous back surgeries with a fusion.
Oh boy.
So
Okay.
it's from this back injury. But even the other day at work, I got down on my knees. I couldn't get up from on the floor. So I
Okay.
had to kind of like crawl over to a machine and like pull myself up. So I just have weakness in my legs too because of this injury. It's
Mm-hmm.
causing nerve damage in my legs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. That's all the information that I needed. Again, you did an excellent job. So here's a few things. For Social Security to apply for disability, the threshold is that you need to be working less than 20 hours a week and working and earning less than $1,550 a month. So your 2 days of work are pushing you over. So if you applied right now, they would give you an automatic denial just based on that, right?
Right.
So then that could give you some information to head down the down the road of the doctor's advice, and if they want you to go back to work full time, and if you go in, and I'm just mapping it out. I'm not saying this is what you need to do. I'm just saying something that you could consider. If you go in and say, okay, well, if you want me to go back to work, I'll go back and I'll try it. And that try it could be an hour or a day or 2 days or whatever it is. And then you just document your limitations. And then you just say, I can't do it. It's not able to work. And so that could actually be beneficial information for your disability case. So then at that point in time, Patricia, you would have stopped work in my example.
Mhm.
Are you with me so far?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So then revisiting your original question, when do I apply? This is what the data has, we've learned from it. Is somebody applies for their disability benefits between the first day that they're out of work and like up to the 5th month in that first period of 5 months, the approval percentages, which we put in a video on our YouTube channel, are like really low. They're like single digits. And there's some slight exceptions. Somebody's had a severe stroke, or they've got like 2 months to live, and that's those are exceptions. I don't believe, and I certainly hope that's not the situation for you. So then, after 5 months, the approval rates spike. They go up. And the national average is 36%. If you use like a full service representative, like the work that we do and a few others do, where they'll go in and do everything top shelf to help get it approved, then you can significantly improve your chances at initial. So the point is, be careful about the numbers in months 1 through 5. A lot of people are like, I'm going to apply right away. Well, you can. But the downside of that is if you've got a shot at getting approved at the initial application, which in my opinion, based on my experience, you do, because you're 53, you have 30 years in the same industry, you've got physical limitations that prevent you from doing your job, not any job, then you have just basically thrown those out and said, sign me up for a 3-year wait, because the percentages are low before months 1 through 5. And then it means you're going to get denied at initial. What state are you in?
Illinois.
Illinois. I'm not clear on Illinois, but let's just say there's a reconsideration there. So that's another 8. So you're up for like a 3-year wait. So that's my assessment on your situation. One thing.
I also.
Go ahead, please.
I was going to say, I also, my birthday's in December, so that would be in the 6th month. I'll be a year older in December. I'll be 54. I don't know if that's not really a cutoff age, I don't think, but at least I would be a little bit older.
Yeah, I mean, it does help, but it doesn't trump the statistics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that would still be July, August, September, October, November. If it was after December, it would be after 6 months also.
Yep.
Of being off work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to keep in mind you're still working right now because you're working part-time.
Oh, okay. So that does count.
Yep. You're still working.
Okay.
Over the allowed amount. So so with the long-term disability benefits that you have, they're paying you the difference. So that would increase if you stopped work. And then that will typically, you can read your policy, which probably sounds super boring, but encourage you to do it. It's usually they encourage you to apply for your disability benefits before 2-year anniversary of being out of work. And they will pay you up until you are approved for your Social Security disability benefits. That's a typical policy. There are some that pay differently, but that's a typical long-term disability policy.
Okay. Does it matter, this and everything, if I do end up in the months ahead applying, so a year and 2 months from now, so when I turn 55, I'm eligible for a pension that I had before the hospital like changed over ownership. It's not a huge amount of money, but will that affect my income if it's from a pension?
It won't affect your Social Security disability. It's unearned income.
Okay.
So no.
Okay, good.
No. So yeah, I mean, one of the, I don't know if you remember at the Disability Digest, but we have information in our disability approval course right now that's specific for like where you're at, if you're still working what we would consider to be full-time. So if you haven't taken advantage of that, we invite you to do so.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
I will do that. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Thank you for calling in. I wish you well. Please let us know. Keep in touch with us. Let us know how it goes. All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Oh, lines are open. I'll take the next caller. Thanks for calling. This is Brian. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Brian.
Hey,
Oh, wow, I made it through. Cool, cool, cool. How you doing today?
last I checked, I was doing like really good. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, you're speaking with Jay.
All right, Jay. How can I help you today?
I called because I had typed in a question, and the brother kind of skipped over some of the integral parts of the question, and that is, the first part of the question is I got a CDR on October 4th, and I go to the doctor Monday on October 21st. Should I fill out the CDR now or wait until Monday after I went to the doctor?
Hmm. Well, I thought we kicked that one around, but I'll give you the condensed version. Monday's not that far away. When did you get the CDR again?
October 4th.
Okay, so you have,
Well, that's the date that it says. That's the
yeah,
date that it says at the top, October 4th.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if you send it in now, and that is that doctor still like listed on your CDR information, or have you had a visit with him yet? I don't remember the deal.
Okay, so I have a new doctor, and that segues into my second question. But to answer you, I will see a new doctor Monday.
Okay. So if it's a new doctor Monday, my answer before, which I'm gonna hold with, is, there's two ways to look at it. You could certainly wait; it's within the time that you have. Typically with a doctor that doesn't know you very well, and it's the first visit, you're not going to get like smoking gun information. So you need to kind of decide, all right, is it worth waiting? Or you could just list the doctor on your CDR now because you know you're going to them on Monday, and send it in. So I don't feel it's going to have a real big influence. That's what I'm attempting to communicate, because what they're going to look at is like your treatment history. Like, if you don't mind my asking, how old are you, Jay? You don't have to answer this, but it'd be helpful.
I will be 40. I'll be 49 tomorrow.
49 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Yes, sir.
Damn, happy birthday, Jay. I hope you're gonna do something fun.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Uh,
Hopefully.
yeah, so going to the doctors is what they're gonna look at, have you had a review before, or were you approved like within the last 3 to 5 years? What's been going on with that?
Okay, so let me just that kind of segue into my whole thing. So I had a stroke back in 2015, back in August 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and I got approved in 2016, and so I've been to therapy. I've been to physical therapy. I had a stroke, and so my left side is affected. I have hemiplegia and spasticity real bad, and so I get Botox shots every 3 months. Now my primary care doctor, he was probably like my fifth primary care doctor. By the time I saw him, I had already been at rehab like maybe I want to say about 5 times in the first 6 years. So I saw him like around starting the sixth and seventh year. It's been 9 years now. And so he would always try to nudge me to go to therapy. But my thing is that I've been to therapy several times and there's really been no improvement, especially over the years. I've kind of been declining. So that was what my original question kind of was, is when I go see the new doctor on Monday, how do I communicate my limitations and also communicate the fact that I've been to therapy multiple times? At this point, it kind of don't make any sense.
Well, don't make any sense needs to be, you need to put some specifics on that. Like, I went to therapy 10 times and they did these exercises and there were no improvements. And as it ended up, I wasn't able to sleep as good and I was sore. It reduced my mobility. So things like that, reasons rather than just a general statement, it's going back
Right.
to like the same thing that we covered earlier in this program, where providing the details about it. And then that's the same situation with this new doctor. When that comes up, say, listen, this is what happened to me. Maybe they've got some other idea for it, and be open to it if they do. Just hear them out. Maybe,
Right.
right? But it's definitely for you, it's important for you to communicate the details of your less than desirable physical therapy treatments.
Yeah. And even with like the Botox, I get Botox every 3 months, and I've been getting that for 9 years, and there's still kind of no improvement.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
my last question is the CDR is the short form of 455. Should I fill that out online, or should I mail it in?
I'm trying to remember. Are you using our course to go through that, or are you just winging it, doing it on your own?
No, I've received the CDR course.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what Attorney Brown said. I believe he suggests filling it out in writing and sending it back in.
Right,
I'm like
right.
90% certain. So, um,
And then I asked Attorney Ginsburg on his live, and he said he prefers to um, do it online.
he does, yeah, uh, different opinions, but
Right,
yeah, I mean,
right.
I just rely on the experts. I can see the value in both. If you have a digital confirmation, then it doesn't get lost in the mail. It does solve that problem. So
Right.
yeah, and they're both really good at their work. I work with both of them, but they're entitled to their different opinions.
Right. Definitely.
Good. I
Okay.
if you've been treating and doing, all of that, I mean, it's, I don't have a crystal ball or anything, but I hope
Right.
whatever your desired outcome is, that it works out for you, and appreciate it if you let us know how it goes. So,
Hey, Brian, I appreciate you, man. You are a blessing to a lot of individuals, along with the individuals who volunteer and help with you. I appreciate them as well.
all right. Well, we appreciate you. I thank you for tuning in and calling in, Jay. All right. You be well.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
All
man.
right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take one more call here for the day. This is Brian, who is calling, and thanks for calling.
It's Jay.
Jay, is this the same Jay that I just spoke to, Jay? Or a new Jay?
No, a different one.
Oh, yeah, I can recognize your voice now. I was going to say, what are the chances of two Jays calling in back to back? Yeah. Nice to meet you, Jay. How can I help you?
My question's kind of
I have a favor
simple.
to ask. I can hear myself talking in the background, and that kind of messes me up because I'm trying to
Yeah,
focus
I
on you.
turned
And yeah.
it just turned off.
All right.
And yeah, here's a question. I was approved for Social Security back in 2019 or so forth, and I'm on long-term disability with my employer too. Now, I went through my first CDR last year, or about a year and a half ago, and I have so many doctors I see for so many multiple conditions. I had an acoustic neuroma tumor, which it damaged several nerves, so I had like chronic migraines, chronic pain,
Mm.
facial palsy, tons of different issues. And I've seen pretty much tons of doctors up and down the East Coast. But when it comes to the CDR in the short form, it only asks for like 3 doctors and a few different, few doctors and something else. And I have to list like up to 30 different people I've seen. And when I did that last time in the short form, they made me fill out a long form, which took like forever. So I was wondering what perhaps the next time I get a review to make it quicker on the short form.
I am trying to recall Attorney Brown's strategy on this, and I believe it was, and if you don't have the course, we can make sure that we get you the CDR course, How to Survive It. But if working from memory, I believe it is to mail it in, the short form, and
Yeah, I did.
to include as an additional on the bottom, there's a remark section somewhere in there, say see attached,
Yeah.
and then list all the other doctors.
And that's exactly what I did to the short form. Like instead of 3 pages, it turned out to be like 15 pages. And
Yeah.
then I sent back and yeah.
That's exactly it. That's you're spot on there. So you had a review a year and a half ago. Do you know when you're scheduled to have another one?
No, I think I may be on the 3-year schedule, but I think it was about a year ago or so it was approved.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And how old are you, Jay?
53.
53. And is your birthday tomorrow like the other Jays, or do you have a different day?
No, mine passed about a month ago.
Oh, all right. Well, happy birthday to you too.
Yeah,
Um, okay. Yeah, I mean, I thank you for tuning in. It sounds like you're just executing perfectly for your CDRs. Is there anything else on your mind I might be able to help you with?
yeah. How I can get excellent CDRs from multiple different doctors and have them fill them out. How often should they be updated and sent in to Social Security?
Only when they ask.
Oh, I mean the form that they fill out when you're talking about letters, and they not the CDR itself, but
Oh, the
the
RFCs?
paperwork. Yeah, yeah. How often should I send the RFCs in?
So for the RFCs, uh, when you get your next CDR, just execute it as they ask, and you can provide you can provide additional information at that time if you like, which could be the RFCs, and that would be a good time to do it. If you're between CDRs, don't stir the pot. That's the advice that I've gotten from the experts. Just let it ride. Um, because
Okay.
I've heard, of others that are like sending their doctor's appointments and they got a new medication. It's just, yeah, you don't need to do that. Hopefully you'll never hear from them again. That could be. But at 53, it's likely you're going to have at least two more. Um, reviews.
Well,
So,
here would be a final question then. So when you list all the doctors down and so forth, it comes to a huge. I forgot what I was going to ask. Sorry. Yeah, I'll leave it there because I forgot what the question I was going to ask.
oh, it's all right. Maybe it'll come back to you. So you were wondering when you fill in all the doctors, there was something associated with the
Oh,
doctors?
yes.
Okay.
I just put all their information down. The amount of paperwork that would be required to be collected by me would be in the thousands of pages. I'm not kidding. So last time I didn't send any of the medical doctors itself. I just sent them the information to contact the doctors. Is that fine?
That's exactly what you should do, because there are some that do this work out there that suggest sending in medical records for the approval process and that, but I have found that not to be a good practice, because if Social Security in your situation would like your medical records, it's their responsibility to request them and to make sure that all of the required information is in the file. Now, if you do it and you give them a stack of, say, 500 pages, and somebody spills coffee on like 50 of them and they only put 450 in, right? So I just suggest you stay out of it. Or it could end up that you provide them and so do they. You've got 450, but there's actually 500 pages and they're going with your 450 and they miss some, because the duplicates are another issue. So my position is only provide medical records in the event that they cannot get them.
Okay, and the conditions are just going to slightly deteriorate over time. I'm just thinking at this point they just look at all my case and they don't even want to deal with it because it'd be so much paperwork and to go through when they have so much others to deal with, which would have tons
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, I mean, could be, but what I just my thing, Jay, is just focus on doing your doctoring, doing what you can to get in the best position that you are. So, and just let them do their thing. I mean, it sounds to me like you're going to be totally fine, but people get caught up. They get consumed and over anxious about it. And there's really not much you can do to control the process except for go to the doctors, get your limitations in there, and provide the information when they request it.
Oh, okay, sounds great. So just stay low key until next CDR
Stay
review
low
and
key.
contact you with any questions at that
Yep.
point.
Yep. Go have some fun, do something. Keep in touch with us. Let us know how it goes. Yeah, we're here to help you. Good to hear from you.
Thank, good to hear. Nice talking to you again. You have a great day. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, folks. We heard from Double J and Patricia today. That was fun. Anything to tighten up before we wrap up, Philip, David?
No, very nice calls from three of them.
Yeah. Yep. Two things I want to remind you of. David would have pushed this link around. There's 4 individuals that we have the bandwidth to help between now and the end of the month go through the approval process. If you know of somebody that could use some assistance, maybe they're like Patricia and they're still trying to figure it out to when to apply, or they're already stuck in the process, unfortunately, click that green button and fill in the information, and we'll do our best to help them out. So that's one. 2 is we'll be back here next week, same time, on Wednesday with an all new program. And just a reminder for those of you that are disability recipients out there, we've covered in prior live events, actually last week, the importance of understanding the changes to your Medicare. I don't know the statistics, but I would just say that most people that are on a Medicare Advantage plans, those plans change every year. It's not the same plan every year. We covered that all last week. So check it out, understand how to review your plan, how to look at your options, and just make sure that you're not stuck, with like a change that you're not aware of until it's too late. Okay. Last is thanks for the 279, 283 people that tuned in here on YouTube. We welcome you back next week and to watch all these videos the best way that we can help you here. In addition to participating in these events, is if you join us or update us as a member, it's easy to do. You just click the green button. And the reason why it is the best way is your profile or updated profile helps us understand where you're at in the process. Maybe you're already approved, or you're applied and waiting, applied and denied, and then we can get you into the most relevant information that's going to help you the fastest. Again, no charge for the membership. The disability approval course, the continuing disability course that Jay is using, those courses, there's no charge. They're put together with industry experts and us that help you. But we don't know how to get you that information unless we understand like your profile and where you're at. So that's the deal. Okay, Philip, David, as always, grateful for your help here today. And we look forward to celebrating the 10,000 that's coming up in your group. We got to figure out something to do for that. Yep. Yep. Barbecue, maybe. Maybe get one of those bouncy houses.
There you go. That sounds fun.
Something like that. So,
Yeah.
David, thank you very much. All right, everybody, make it a great day. Until the next time, be well.
Bye, everybody.